for joining us here on 13 News at noon. I'm Samantha Johnson in for Karen Campbell this afternoon. We got to start with the weather. Sean Ash is here with us today, and you said it, one of the warmest days we've had.
Well, it's an easy pick of the week.
Okay.
Hard to complain. Sunshine and near 40 degrees for today, but I'm telling you, we've got some big time weather whiplash on the way for the weekend. A lot of impacts to discuss here. Let's start with the good news. And yeah, a lot of blue sky out there. Had a little patchy fog earlier this morning. Matt and Chuck were talking about that on sunrise. In its wake, good looking day here. We're almost, nearing 40 degrees already at this hour in Indy and Noblesville. If you recall yesterday, didn't feel so bad. We're about 5 to 10 degrees ahead of that pace. So what you're seeing on visible satellite, this is all just leftover snow. That tells us there's no cloud cover around right now. So we're going to enjoy a sunny day here. We should peak it up to at least 40 and maybe even a little bit warmer than that in some locations. And as we look toward the west and southwest, it is quiet for now. Bright, we're going to call it balmy for today. Now, so heading home, sunny, pleasant, temperatures flirting with 40 and plus. And then we look down across parts of Texas and Oklahoma. You can see the snowpack from the Central Plains through Indiana. We're going to throw some rain onto that snow and a little slushiness tomorrow as well. We've got to walk you through a pretty interesting Saturday, and then we're going to let you know when wind chills will get as cold as 20 below zero, all ahead in a pretty active forecast.
All right, Sean, we'll see you then.
Yeah.
Well, this month we've gotten more than 11 inches of snow across Indianapolis, and much of it, as you know, is still on some of our side roads. Now city leaders are addressing changes to DPW's policy that keeps plows away from 1,400 neighborhood streets. Our Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick talked to some residents about their concerns. She's also looking into our city's snow strategy.
A long and at times tense meeting regarding the city's snow policy, with councilors pushing back against leaders of DPW. Majority of them now saying this policy needs to change.
Other cities have far worse conditions than us, and they're out there plowing the residential streets. And we're sitting here acting like we don't know how to do it.
You say it's not a budgetary issue, so if I gave you $100 million,
it has not at all been acceptable, like not in any way.
I want to answer.
You're asking.
Frustration across the board as councilors demand answers and accountability from leaders of DPW, calling this latest snow fight a failure, not because of the workers, but the policy. Currently, more than 1,000 miles of neighborhood streets will never see a city plow. That's because in 2020, the city changed its policy from its 6-inch rule to a connector street strategy. So instead of activating contractors after a large snowfall, crews now focus on these connector streets. This map outlining the change. The red lines are main roads, the blue lines, the connectors. But that means all these gray roads are on their own.
I think it's very clear no one is pleased with how this response went, except for the people that administered the response.
According to DPW, the old policy was ineffective and contractors were rarely used. They say the new policy allows crews to tackle more residential roads without relying on snow totals.
We're evaluating a number of conditions in this decision, and it's not an easy decision. It's one that requires daily discussion.
13 News asked for an interview with the interim director, but was told he was not available. In the meantime, the chair of the committee is hoping for a joint solution.
We can work collectively and we can work as a team because we heard tonight we're all hearing the same things.
DPW leaders promise to continue conversations with the council moving forward. We also learned that some councilors are working on a proposal to possibly change this policy in the future. At the City County building, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.
This afternoon, the jury is now deliberating in the murder trial of a Dutch soldier killed in August of 2022 that happened here in Indianapolis. We're hearing from the man accused of killing that soldier, Shamar Duncan, taking the stand in his own defense. Investigators say Duncan killed Commando Simi Putsima and injured 2 other soldiers. In his testimony, Duncan says a woman with the soldiers made a comment that annoyed him and his brothers. They exchanged words, and that led to a fight and shots being fired outside a hotel. Duncan admits he fired those shots, but he says he didn't intend to kill anyone.
Just kind of angry, probably, that, you know, the situation that just happened. So just kind of, I wouldn't say making a statement, but like saying it's not okay, or, you know, it's not okay what, you know, what just happened.
Duncan is facing multiple charges in this case, including murder and attempted murder. Once we get an update from that courtroom, we'll be sure to keep you updated here on 13 News. We have new developments at noon. Metro Police say they have now arrested 3 people for their roles in an attempted robbery and robbery of armored vehicles in December of 2021. That's when police say they were called to Emerson Way near 56th Street for an attempted robbery of an armed vehicle. But the next day, police were called to East Washington Street, just west of Post Road, for an armed robbery of another armored vehicle. IMPD detectives and the FBI started investigating those robberies. They say they've arrested 28-year-old Devontae Foster, 31-year-old Lonnie McGill, and 24-year-old Darius Moore. The jury trial for those 3 is set to begin in September. Turning now to the search for a man who authorities say disappeared into the Ohio River. Indiana conservation officers have started a search and recovery effort in southern Indiana. They say a man was duck hunting in Spencer County around 9 o'clock yesterday morning and got into a kayak to retrieve a bird. He fell out and was clinging to that kayak, but that's when he went underwater.
You know, hopefully we can make a quick recovery. I mean, we hate this for the family, but we do take a lot of pride in bringing closure to families, and you know, hopefully we can do our job, do it well, and get this taken care of.
Crews say they still have not found that man. The Spencer County Sheriff's Office says right now deputies are not releasing the names of anyone involved. Well, this afternoon, we are now getting a better idea of Governor Mike Braun's 2-year budget plan. Governor Braun says he's looking to cut 5% across all state agencies. He's also discussing property tax cuts while increasing funding for education and public safety. The new governor called out some school districts who he says have overspent and overtaxed.
Those school districts better have salted some of that away in their rainy day funds and not been mismanaging to where they did things to where they would need that kind of increase year after year.
So now lawmakers will put together the 2-year financial plan. We talked to Democrats about their role in this process.
There are a lot of ways that he views how he wants to bring things forward that the legislature now comes in, and we have a very big hand in how those decisions will be made.
Governor Braun also addressed another focus for his first term, ending retirement tax. The governor said he'd like to phase out the retirement tax over the next 4 years. Well, Indianapolis is remembering the dream in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Volunteers with Citizens Energy and Indy Parks are working on improvements at the municipal gardens. That's on the city's near northwest side. Organizers say the projects are growing bigger every year, and this year's project includes roughly $450,000 worth of upgrades.
It is evolved significantly from the first year where it was just like, let's roll some paint in the gym or whatever, you know. And now it's like we have all these vendor partners who are like, we can get you furniture, we can get you flooring, we can get you lighting and fixtures and all these kind of things. And they also like to kind of coalesce around this event each year.
So you can see all the improvements at the open house. That's on Monday from 10 to 2.